winner of the New Jersey Press Association's Most Innovative Award.
Welcome back to Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Shea, bringing you the top headlines in Central New Jersey. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. Garden State Film Festival, text message controversy, knitting for newborns, Science Olympiad, and cooking with celebrity chefs. Filmmakers across the state will display their talents this weekend at the 13th Annual Garden State Film Festival. The event runs Thursday through Sunday in Atlantic City, and it honors the best in New Jersey's independent filmmaking. Those attending will see films such as Five to Places, a short comedy by East Brunswick's Zach Morrison. The Columbia University film student takes his audience backstage at a community theater, where an actor breaks his leg 5 minutes before showtime. And Eatontown resident Eric Massimino will present his film Animus, a movie that, without any dialogue, focuses on the importance of life as told through the eyes of a father who lost his child to a drunken driver. For more on these films and the works of many other locals entering works into the festival, see this week's editions of Greater Media newspapers. And here's Mark Rossman with more headlines.
Representatives of Western Monmouth County first response teams are expected to participate in an emergency drill in Millstone Township on March 28th. A simulated plane crash will be staged in the area of the Millstone Township Middle School and Wagner Farm. 17-year-old Millstone Township resident James Collins will direct this mass casualty incident. Collins is a member of the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Youth Preparedness Council, and he said the drill is designed to prepare first responders for when disaster strikes. The drill will call for the first responders to search for and rescue about 50 victims and to provide triage based on the victims' injuries. Medical helicopters are expected to land and simulate the way in which they would be deployed during an actual emergency. Members of police departments, fire companies, first aid squads, and other organizations will practice the skills they would use if a disaster really occurs in this area.
It might be March Madness season, but another sport may be stealing the spotlight soon. Here's Adam Ujako on the growth of rugby teams in New Jersey.
The Monmouth Rugby Football Club has been hitting the pitch since the 1970s, but with the sport of rugby growing by leaps and bounds in the U.S., the club is looking forward to an even brighter future. With the 2015 Rugby World Cup scheduled for this fall and the addition of rugby to the Olympics, local clubs are well aware that this is a special time for American rugby. The Monmouth Ruggers expect that all the newfound attention will provide a boost to their already successful club and have begun laying plans to expand. According to the men's head coach and rugby director Pat Maroney, the emphasis is on growing the youth programs. The club is already home to both boys and girls teams. In the long run, Maroney believes that a robust youth program will ultimately lead to more depth for the men's and women's teams. For Maroney, expanding is about more than just what happens on game day. It's about maintaining the rugby tradition of socializing with one's opponents off of the field and learning their history after 80 minutes of a hard-fought battle. As the saying goes, rugby is a hooligan sport played by gentlemen and ladies. For more on the sport of rugby and the Monmouth Rugby Football Club, see your local Greater Media newspaper.
And here are the headlines you need to know. A Monmouth County SPCA chief has resigned after being named in a lawsuit alleging that he sent harassing and offensive text messages. Victor Buddy Amato is accused of creating a hostile work environment for his employee, Suzanne De Marais. Examples of the messages he sent were provided in the 13-page lawsuit, and they allegedly contained derogatory statements about African Americans, homosexuals, and women. A North Brunswick educator will attend a conference in June for digital innovators in education. Jeffrey Bradbury of North Brunswick Township High School has been selected as one of 30 lead PBS Learning Media digital innovators this year. The program acknowledges the work of tech-savvy K-12 educators throughout the country. A 68-foot World War II Navy gun barrel will soon come to Hartshorn Woods Park in Middletown. The 120-ton wartime artifact was donated by the U.S. Navy to the Monmouth County Park System for permanent display. Equipped with knitting needles and crochet hooks, Rainey School students aim to improve the lives of newborns in need. 20 upper school students have made 15 blankets and more than 30 hats for newborns at Riverview Medical Center's maternity and nursery ward. And here's Mike Pavlichko of Greater Media's WCTC with an update on Rutgers sports. After that, we have Tim Morris with more on the local sports scene.
Well, fans, this week's segment comes to us from the You Can't Make This Stuff Up department. The Rutgers women's basketball team back in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 3 years. Good so far. And their first-round opponent, get this, Seton Hall, a team that plays less than an hour away and former league opponent from their Big East days. They'll play Saturday night at 6:30. But, oh, those NCAA selection committee members, boy, do they have a sense of humor. Or maybe a mean streak. Where do they play that first-round game? Up in Storrs, Connecticut at Gamble Pavilion, the home court of Rutgers' arch-rival from those Big East days, the UConn Huskies. No, I'm not kidding. In its infinite wisdom, or something like that, the NCAA is looking to sell tickets, obviously, to these early-round games so fans can travel. They won't ship RU out to places like Gonzaga as they have in the past. At least they didn't put them on the home floor of a lower-seeded team like they've also done years before. UConn head coach Gino Auriemma, the man Scarlet Knight fans love to hate, and me too, why not? He's a sports figure who hails from Philadelphia. He says any team that's whining and complaining about having to play UConn in their bracket might as well not show up because, in his words, we'll beat you by 50. And he's probably right regardless. They are clearly the best team in the country. But as Rutgers head coach C. Vivian Stringer's philosophy goes, you got to play the best to be the best. So here's Rutgers' chance. I'm Mike Pavlichko on 1450 WCTC and WCTCAM.com.
It was a championship game worthy of its title when Monroe's and Marlboro's girls played for the NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 4 basketball title. The teams traded one great play after another in a game of anything you can do, I can do better. It was only fitting that the game went into overtime before visiting Marlboro pulled out a thrilling 60-52 victory. Senior guard Erica Junquette, number 4, was the Falcons' catalyst on offense. Whether it was scoring a basket or running the fast break and finding the open teammate. She was more than matched, however, by Marlboro's determined Nicole Shatsky, number 1, the Mustangs' floor general. She scored a game-high 27 points and lifted the team on her back, scoring in a variety of ways. Marlboro would use its advantage under the boards on both ends of the floor to offset Monroe's quickness. Tatum Evans, number 33, will grab a defensive rebound here. It will eventually become 2 points. When Danielle Mark, number 25, scores on this putback. Shatsky received the long-range help from teammates Jessica Broad and Molly Weiss, who scored important three-pointers in the second half. But it was Shatsky who delivered the biggest shots and iced the game from the free-throw line. This shot was her 1,000th career point. After putting the Falcons away, the Mustangs could celebrate their first sectional championship since 2004. Tim Morris, Greater Media Newspapers.
You can read about physics, engineering, and robotics from a textbook, but some local students know that hands-on experiments are the best way to learn. Here's Taylor Lear on this year's Science Olympiad.
Bottle rockets and robots were just few of the things filling the grounds of Middlesex County College for an event that wasn't your typical science fair. The 23rd annual New Jersey Science Olympiad State Finals Tournament was held March 10th at Middlesex County College in Edison. More than 50 students participated in several engineering and written exam competitions. The state tournament consisted of 24 events and 2 trial events for a middle school and a high school division. Winners at the state level go on to the national tournament held at the University of Nebraska from May 15th to May 16th. Dr. Jennifer Wirt, director of the New Jersey Science Olympiad, said the event is great because it is something for everyone, furthers students' interest in science, and prepares them for the real world by learning how to work well with others. For more information on the Olympiad, Read your Middlesex County paper this week and visit www.njscienceolympiad.org.
Bobby Flay, Curtis Stone, Michael Simon, Alex Gernashelli. Do any of these names sound familiar? Well, if you're a Food Network fan, they certainly will. And one local resident got a chance to meet these celebrity chefs and even learn from them. Here's Jeremy Grossman.
Like any good dish, Middletown resident Mimi Chang is a person of many flavors. She's an award-winning chef, an experienced legal professional, and a loving mother of 2 young sons. But it's that last ingredient that has made Chang such a standout on the Food Network's new competition series, All-Star Academy. 3 episodes in, Chang remains a competitive force, all while maintaining her calm composure and being the type of person her children can root for at home. Each week, Chang is mentored by the Food Network's Curtis Stone in order to create dishes that are both memorable and delicious, and most importantly, good enough to prevent her from being sent home. If Stone can steer Chang to the end of the competition and come out victorious, then Chang will receive a grand prize of $50,000. So far, the dish that Chang said she's most proud of is her halibut with Gruyere crust, which she made as part of a competition to create a seafood dish with cheese. To learn more about Chang and her journey to win All-Star Academy, visit gmnews.com.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today. Keep up with the latest headlines by liking us on facebook.com/Greater Media Broadcast News or following us on Twitter @GMediaNews. I'm Susie Shea. See you next time.